All right, this is Edge 88.1. I'm here with DJ Jackson. I have a special guest on the line today. We have Ed Opperman, author and private and guest investigator, as well as a digital forensic investigator. How you doing, Ed?
Very good. How are you?
Doing really well. So your job is really a very interesting thing that's going on in today's world. Can you tell me a little bit about your company and what you do?
Well, sometimes it's interesting. Okay, let's hope this is one of those days. I'm a private investigator, and I'm the president of Opperman Investigations. I do all the regular stuff the PI does, the asset searches, the locates, the background checks, all that stuff we do. But I'm also a digital forensic investigator. So what I do for the most part with that is an attorney or a sheriff's department will send me a hard drive, a computer hard drive, or a cell phone, and what I'll do is I'll recover the data from the cell phone, and I'll reduce it to a report that can be used as an exhibit in court. And I'll also support that with testimony in court if I have to. So I've done a lot of digital investigations, email tracing emails back to a person's location or identifying a person from an email. I invented a search where you can take an email address and trace it back to online dating websites and catch people cheating online.
Wow, that's really interesting. So I've seen on your resume that you've worked with a lot of different celebrities over the years, including the Tiger Woods, the Ashton Kutcher, Charlie Sheen. Is it frightening dealing with these big names? And who else have you worked with that are big names out there?
Well, I did an email trace for the Howard Stern show that made the news. Gary Delabate, the producer over there, was being stalked and harassed, and we were able to locate the origin of that email. Oh boy, so many. The Wienergate case I was involved in. I did digital forensics in the Wienergate case. A big one was Shirley Tripp. What happened was my client was a prostitute up in Alaska.
Oh, wow.
She claimed, She it was a big thing. Her client was Todd Palin. the husband of Sarah Palin. That's a story. That's a good 2-hour story. But it ended up in a congressional investigation. I was part of a congressional investigation and a congressional hearing, and also too the day that we received her evidence from the court from the sheriff's department over there in Anchorage, Alaska. The same day, Sarah Palin announced she didn't want to run for president.
Oh wow! So you were definitely very involved with that.
Oh yeah.
So in this digital age, that's where anything that you do is out there and it's traceable. Do you think it is possible to not really be tracked with what's been going on? Since you were actually involved with finding people and finding out what they're doing, do you think it is possible to not be tracked in today's digital age?
You know what? With enough time and enough money, you can track down anybody. There are some steps you can take to avoid being captured right away, to being traced right away. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say how it is because then it just makes my job more difficult. So you can take steps to hide your identity online. Okay, but the average guy, especially who's like an obsessed type cyber stalker, no matter how technologically savvy they think they are. A lot of times those guys are easier to get to catch because they're more arrogant, they make more mistakes, they're more sloppy, and you catch them late at night after they've been having a couple of drinks, if you know what I mean.
So do you think, I've never really heard of any of this, but do you think there's anyone out there that does think this is an invasion of privacy or anything like that? Do you ever deal with cases like that where, you have this backlash from anybody or anything like negative?
Yeah. A lot of times, you'll be investigating somebody, and they'll see the report, in discovery before you go to trial, and they say, "You invaded my privacy. You investigated me." Yeah, you're right. I did. Right. But then on the other hand, sometimes, because you get a client comes to you out of the blue. Mm-hmm. A lot of times they'll contact me through my website, emailrevealer.com, and they'll just send me an email through there, or they'll place an order on there. And when you start to look into the case, you'll see that the client is actually a cyber stalker who's harassing somebody else. And then, you have to drop that case, and in some instances, even turn in your own client if they're violating a restraining order or something, or just obviously, oh boy, I had a big one. It was a big case in New York City with big names, too. It's ongoing right now, and it turned out the client is completely insane and guilty,
So you actually do have stories then where the people that are hiring you to do the work are actually criminals themselves.
Yeah, they're trying to hire me. Yeah, you get that a lot. You get a lot of calls too. Hey, can you hack into this email account? Hey, can you do? And you can. And then they'll offer you like ridiculous amounts of money. And it's not worth it for me to go to jail for you, because I'll get in more trouble than you will. Right. But as a licensed professional, you get in more trouble than the client does.
So, in this line of work, there's a lot of new technology coming out there. What do you think of the future is for this line of work? There's new apps coming out. Different web-based things going on. What do you think the future is for forensic investigation? Here for digital world.
That's a good question. It's changing so fast that when new technologies, like when Skype first came out, there was really no way people would contact me and says, "Hey, can you identify somebody behind a Skype name?" And we couldn't back then, but now we can. And with new cell phone apps and things, the caller ID spoofing apps that came out, because I also do telephone harassment investigations. If you're getting obscene and crank phone calls, I can put a trap on your line, just like the phone company does. And we can unblock caller ID and caller ID block and all that kind of stuff. And those unknown callers, we can unblock all that and trace it back to the person who's calling you up. But new technology comes up on both sides, Like when you first started with these dating sites, sure, that was anonymous, and they had these big dating sites that cheat on your wife, and then we come up with, we invent something, and then they change it, and then we invent something else. It's a lot of back and forth,
All right. Thank you, Ed, for coming into the studio here on Edge 88.1. We enjoyed having you as a guest today.
Thank you, brother.
Up next on the Edge, we have She Don't Want a Man by Asher Roth. Stay tuned here on Edge 88.1.